Hello, it's your boy Boink, and today is going to be the first in a series of videos that I do on Warframes, on how to play, how to mod, and how to get the most out of that frame. Remember, this is all in my opinion, so if it doesn't match your opinion, fair enough. But this is how I play it to get the most out of it, and this should only be used to get some tips and tricks on how to play Warframes to get the most out of them, do the most damage, and have the most survivability in different situations and what frame to use for different situations. So the first one up, we have Saryn. Now Saryn, she is the DPS queen. She is the queen of killing enemies fast. So the more enemies there are, she is the frame you want to kill these quick. She is very, very good at doing her job of killing stuff. So if we go into it, her passive gives status effects 25% longer duration. So basically this means any status effects she applies with weapons or on her abilities last 25% longer, which is very handy considering her first number one, which is your bread and butter button, is spores. This infects the enemy with a virus or a pox or whatever it is you want to call it, coronavirus or whatever, and then when you kill that enemy, this spreads to anyone around it. This is where you get your damage from, and this is where the high damage starts to breed. Basically, you wind this up and then it starts hitting like a truck. So how it works is the more you infect for the longer duration that they're infected, the higher this will hit when it infects someone new. So basically, you have one person infected, you'll see down the bottom right, it will have a little counter, and this will tell you how many is infected and how much damage this is doing. So this is damage per tick. So you infect one person, the damage that you infect that's ticking away is going up very slowly. You infect two, this will go up a bit quicker, and you infect three, it will go quicker still, and so on and so on and so on. The hardest I've had this hitting per tick is around the 3,000 mark, and this was in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. So the more you have and the longer it's on enemies, then the harder this will tick. And then your number two is your oh shit button. This is your get out of jail free card, if you like. Basically, if you're in trouble, you push this button. This leaves a carcass behind, which aggroes all the enemies, and it gives you time to run away, and then it will explode and do a little bit of damage. If the enemies are weak, then it will kill them. If they're not, it will just do a chunk of damage to them. And then your number three is your toxic lash. This basically gives you a coating on your weapons to make them do more damage. And if the enemy is also infected with your virus or your number one ability, this does extra damage to them. Also, it pops all the spores that they grow on them. If you see in this video, you can just see they've got green bubbles that go on their legs and their arms and stuff. The first hit you do of them will burst these bubbles, and that will infect the enemies around them, helping you spread your virus and do more damage. And then your number four is just an AoE burst that happens to bursts to all the enemies that are around you and does some damage to them. And if they're infected by your number one, then this will do extra damage to them and take a big chunk of health away from them. And I'll show you all these abilities in action in a second. So the next thing I would say you do is go down to the tips. Every Warframe has this. I'm not sure if it's in Xbox or PlayStation, as I don't play on those platforms, but you should have something along these lines and see what button it is to make you scroll through them. On the PC, it's tab. So you push tab and you can go through seeing the different tips that the game gives you on how to use the frame. They're very handy on getting an understanding on how to use this frame and how it plays. So from what I have learned from these tips and from playing, and I'll show you. So I've spawned some enemies. Let's get some energy. And basically, if you infect one, this enemy, I've got one infected. You can see the counter down is is coming up slow. So if I infect another one, see that starts counting further, you know, faster and faster. Let's get a third and a fourth. And that's really counting. Now, if I do my number 3 and hit one person just once, you see that spread to all the other 20 enemies. So they're all infected, and you can see the numbers are tanking up very quickly. Now I'll start killing them off as it does more and more and more and more damage. As you see, the ticking that's happening is not the exact number that's on the thing, because obviously the enemies have armor and different resistances. So you can see that this is, you know, just like it's a base range of how much it's going to tick. Then obviously minus the armor and the abilities, but then yeah, as you see, this is on now 1.3. So this is going to really start hurting, and they'll start dying soon. Their health is almost done. So that's how she kills a lot. So if I simulate them again, so we infect one, hit them with a toxic lash. That's infected everybody. Then if these are fighting me, I'd hit 2 and I can run through them very quickly. It's left a little carcass behind, as you can see this. And this aggroes all the enemies. So if these were alive, they would be shooting this. And then if I go and push my number 4, I've done a massive bit of damage to them, and they'll start dying quicker. And that's basically how Saryn works. Just melt stuff. In Elite Sanctuary, what you do is you infect one, hit them with your blades on number 3, and that will infect everything. Then you want to run around a bit, you know, keep hiding, infecting more people as they go around, not killing them. And then when you get your focus buff, the yellow one up in the top, you can start killing, and this will give you focus kills very, 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 very fast. Everything will start dying. The virus will go absolutely mental, killing everything that it touches, and you'll get that focus in very, very quick. And that is Saryn. Basically, her faults, I would say, is she hasn't got a lot of armor in this thing. You can mod her to give her armor or shields and stuff, but what we'd be doing then is taking away from these mods that I've got in here. So what you need to mod her for is for strength, for range, so like strength to make the virus tick harder, range to make it spread further, so it'll be further away. So if I took away some of the range, this range will go down, and it won't be so, you know, the spread won't be as far. So you get more enemies with the more range. And then the duration is basically you want these abilities lasting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. And this will make things go a lot better for you when playing this frame. She is basically like a glass cannon. She hasn't got a lot of shield or armor. Health, she's got loads from this vitality. So you could mod for shields and everything, but then you'd have to take away some of the, you know, the duration, some of the strength, some of the range. You know, you have to weigh it up. Do you want to do more damage, or do you want to survive? That's how you weigh up these warframes when you're doing it. If you're using if you're just leveling the normal frame, this spec also works for a normal frame. The only difference between a normal frame and a prime frame is basically it's that normal frame on steroids. That is it. So you do more damage, have more health, more shields, more everything on the prime version of that normal frame. So what I do is I have growing power. So when I apply status with weapons, this makes my strength go up higher. So while I'm hitting with my blades, my strength is staying 25% higher. So this then makes my virus hit harder and harder and harder as it's spreading around. And then I have regenerative molt, which basically makes my number 2. When I push the old ship button and I put that carapace and I run away, this then heals me. So it gives me a bit of survivability. So this is why I use this. I could put something else in there, and this would probably give me more armor or shield or whatever, but then I wouldn't be able to heal. So that's why I use regenerative malt, as it's one of hers, and it just makes sense to have this to keep you alive. And yeah, basically, if you're putting mods in, don't worry about having primed flow or umbral intensify. Use the normal versions. Put normal flow, normal intensify, normal vitality, and then when you get the former in there, then you can start putting in the prime versions, the umbra versions, blah blah blah. Basically, I've got 4 former in here, and one of them is a umbral one to allow me to have 2 umbral mods. If you didn't know that, if the more mods you have, see at the bottom it says enhance the mods in this set. The more umbral mods you have in this set gives you higher stats in the other umbral mods. So it's basically, if I take away the vitality, that vitality is only 400 when it's not with another umbral mod, and this intensify is only 40. But if I put that in there, this vitality goes up to 500, and this intensify goes up to 50%, which is very nice. I mean, I could add the third one to make this even higher, but quite frankly, where would I put it? Probably here to get rid of this. It's the only place that's not already formed. I could probably maybe in the continuity, but I don't think it's worth it to have 3. 4's quite enough. She's quite a beast, and as I say, she is the DPS queen. So that's all I've got for Saryn. And what frame should I do next? And like and subscribe to see which frame I pick next, or if someone comments on this video, I will do that frame next. I've got quite a few of them. If I haven't got that frame, I can get a video off my friend who probably has that frame for me. Okay, thank you very much, and remember, like and subscribe for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.